Example 2. Terry Fox High School just held a winter food drive for the local food bank. The scatter plot below shows the number of students in each class and the number of food items donated by that class. Each class is identified by the teacher's name. Here we see the class donations to the winter food drive. The graph gives us information about the number of food items donated and the number of students in each class. And all of the points are identified as the teacher's name. Look at the point from Miss Mirando's class, right there. Does this point follow the pattern of other points, or is it off by itself? A data point that does not fit the pattern of other data points is called an outlier. Example 2 continued. How many students are in Mr. Blues' class, and how many food items did they donate? To answer this question, we need to find Mr. Blues' class. That's the point right there. We'll draw a line down to the horizontal axes to figure out the number of students. There are 18 students in his class. And then we'll extend a line to the vertical axes to find that they've donated approximately 210 items. Because of the scale of our vertical axes, we have to be careful and use a word like approximately, because it could simply be just too small to read an exact value. Which classes donated fewer food items than Mr. Blues' class? We've already found Mr. Blues' class. That's the class that donated 210 food items in the last question. The two classes that are lower on the vertical axes than Mr. Blues' class are Mrs. Mark's class and Mr. Boyd's class. So we can say that Mr. Boyd's and Mrs. Mark's class donated less food items than Mr. Blues' class. Which class donated the most food items? How many items did they donate, and how many students were in that class? We need to look up our number of food items donated. That's on our vertical axes. So we're looking for the point that's the highest up this graph. That's Miss Mirando's class. Remember that outlier we were talking about earlier? So, Miss Mirando's class donated the most items. We extend a line over to the vertical axis to find that they donated approximately 280 items. And we extend a line down to find that there are 12 students in her class. We've now answered all three parts of the question. How many food items in total were donated during the winter food drive? To answer this question, we have to ask ourselves, how much did each class collect? So we'll go to each class and figure out the number of food items they've each donated. Mr. Boyd's class donated 80. Mrs. Mark's class donated 100. Mrs. Doucette's class donated 240. Mr. Blues' class donated 210 items. 260 items came from Mr. Ross's class. Miss Ferrero's class donated 240, and Miss Mirando's class donated 280 items. To find the total amount of items, we need to add all of these numbers up. And we find that they've donated approximately 1,310 items.